Good morning, Facebook. It is Vanessa here again, your motivational speaker, trainer, and head coach from Live, Love, Give. And I'm coming back at you this morning because I've had a few of you say you couldn't catch me, and I know I've been doing them lately. So today's message is all about making the shift from functionality to being exceptional. And what I'm really meaning about this is that so many of us, when we're having those challenges in our lives or we're setting those goals for ourselves in our lives, we're only aiming to be able to be functional rather than aiming to be truly exceptional. And this makes the difference between, whether we get our results or we don't. It's the whole, are you interested or are you committed? It is striving. Ultimately, if your goals aren't really inspiring to you, then you're not really going to ever achieve them. So that's what I wanted to talk into with you guys today. All about making that shift, because when you make that shift from functionality to being exceptional, that is when you get extraordinary results. That's when you enter the realm of inspiration. Rather than having to find some motivation all the time, you actually shift to empowering yourself and energizing yourself because you're reaching for something exceptional and it's inspiring, rather than just settling for functionality or just trying to be functional in your everyday life. Whether that is in your relationship, are you having some problems in your relationship and you're just trying to get functional? You're just trying to, get through your day-to-day life. And, ultimately, if you have that mindset of just trying to be functional, just trying to seek some guidance to become functional, then you're never going to get out of the rut. You're just not. You're going to be staying on that cycle, that never-ending cycle of mediocrity and settling. And ultimately, it is not until you get the mindset of being exceptional in this area, which means you are 110% committed to your success and you're creating a compelling future. Until you get to that point, you're never going to have great results. And I don't care what area that's in, whether it is your relationship, whether it's in your health, and you're just trying to get functional because you're a bit sick, or, the doctor gave you a little bit of bad news. So you're like, oh, I better try and get more functional rather than reaching for exceptional. And maybe even in your business, maybe you're just trying to maybe you're just doing whatever it takes to just get some money in the door and, so you can pay the bills, and you're not reaching for something exceptional, something inspiring, something that contributes and serves and you feel like you make a difference. Wherever it is in your life right now where you're just trying to be functional rather than creating something exceptional, I challenge you to find where that is and make this shift. And sometimes you can make that shift by having that conscious awareness. That is always the first place of being brutally honest with yourself about where you're settling, where you're just going for functionality instead of going for being exceptional in those different areas. So I want to check in with you guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Hassani's in the house. You are the reason I'm coming to you live this morning, so thank you. And Stephen, awesome to have you back. And Clint, lovely to have you. Muritesh, always love seeing you. And Emma, awesome. And Josue, yes, definitely Hassani. And Arta, nice to have you. And Jake and Alan, my friend, and Trent and Alex. Thank you so much for sharing, Alan. I always appreciate you so much for sharing. That's so great of you. And Ahmed, nice to have you. Definitely, I love that you're agreeing with this, Arta. Awesome. And Belinda, lovely to have you back. And Misty, I love having you here. So great to see you. And Graham, awesome. And Andrew and Thomas. Yes, don't settle for the ordinary. I love that. I love that we're like-minded there, Thomas. And Kyle, awesome to have you. And Hassani, I often have a hard time between being a perfectionist and doing well so that I'm not spending too much time on one thing. What are your thoughts on perfectionism? Great question, as always, Hassani. And perfectionism is definitely something that I struggled with for a majority of my life. I had that all or nothing mentality, in terms of having to be perfect or it wasn't worth doing, until I've reached a point where I recognized what's called the perfectionist's lie. And actually, Coach pointed this out for me, and it was kind of mind-blowing to recognize that perfectionism ultimately comes from, like true perfectionism, ultimately comes from us not believing in ourselves and consistently seeking that validation outside of ourselves. So we have to make it perfect. Otherwise, we're actually on a subconscious level. We feel like we are not lovable. We're not worthy. We're not good enough. We're not of value. And so for me, that journey started of, relinquishing that control that the perfectionistic lie had on me, was firstly recognizing that perfectionism is often a lie that we tell ourselves so that we don't have to move in the direction of ultimately the stuff that just doesn't mean that much to us, but we're trying to seek validation. We're trying to be somebody that we're not often. And as Tony Robbins would say, we're shooting all over ourselves. And instead of having the self-awareness, and when we start building that relationship with self, that trust within ourselves, we can relinquish that control of perfectionism, because we can see that everything is on our way, not in our way, and that any sort of failure, because it's, we're fearing that sense of failure, we change our mindset around in our relationship with failure, and we ultimately trust ourselves to always learn the lesson no matter what result we generate, and we start listening to the inner wisdom that we always have. It's just if we're listening or we're avoiding it, that what is right for us. And sometimes perfectionism comes up when we're just full of expectation on ourselves, and we're expecting ourselves to move in a direction that's not necessarily aligned with our truth. So I would get you to, Hassani, definitely question how aligned is the thing that you are being perfectionistic about? How aligned is that to your truth? I would really get you to journal on that. I know you like your journaling, Hassani, so I'd really get you to dive into that and start sort of building that awareness around where this perfectionism is coming from, and how you can value yourself right here, right now, without the achievement of something, and also focusing on that, what's your relationship with failure. And ultimately, that relationship with failure always stems from whether we're trusting in ourselves or not. So the sooner you can build that relationship with yourself, that you trust that you will always learn the lesson no matter what the result, and use it for your success moving forward. And also, building that trust because you're listening to yourself and aligning with what is true to who you are, rather than shooting all over yourself and trying to seek that validation in the external world. So Hassani, I hope that was valuable to you. I hope that made sense. Let me know if you need any more clarification there. Hope it was valuable for you guys there. And same to you, Thomas, you rock. And Jared, nice to have you. Thanks, Alan, appreciate you. And Carl, awesome to have you. Alexandria, lovely to have you back. Carl from Ireland, I love Ireland and I love the Irish people. Awesome, beautiful place, beautiful part of the world. Love it every time I get to go there. And David, awesome to have you. And Clint and Jeremy, my friend, awesome to have you. And Don, you're back. I love it. Definitely, Alexandria, it is a process. And yes, great to see you, Don. And Mark, you're always welcome from Texas. I love Texas so much. I love having so many of you from that area. And Kelly, awesome to have you. And Thiago and Savula, awesome. And David, awesome of you to join. So guys, that really is my message. I wanted to just bring this to you, get you thinking, right? So where in your life are you settling for just trying to function, rather than going for something exceptional? And it's the whole, the shoot for the stars, land on the moon. If you just shoot for functionality, if you're just trying to survive, you often don't even reach that. Your mindset is limiting your potential. So shifting from survival to being able to seriously thrive, that is the mentality to have. Shifting from just being functional, no matter where you are, like relationship or health or business or finances, just trying to be functional, just get by, you're never going to be free to reach and access higher levels of your potential and ultimately fulfillment in your life. So you've got to make the shift to exceptional. You want to be exceptional, and whatever it takes to get you to that place, but you have to make sure that your goals are inspiring to you, or you won't have the fuel, you won't have the energy to move in that direction. And nothing is inspiring about just being functional. It's just not inspiring. So you have to shift to being exceptional and believing that you can achieve it. And, ultimately at the end of the day, I have to say, that half-assed actions lead to half-assed results. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just so true. So, and your actions, are determined by how inspired you are to becoming exceptional. Create exceptional goals that thrill you, that excite you, that ultimately, if you can get to the point where they generate, your goals generate tears of inspiration when you really think into and visualize yourself achieving, that is where you've got to get to. If your goals are just focused on just being functional, or they're just really not inspiring because they're somebody else's expectations that you're taking on board, then you're just running a dead-end game. Like, you're never going to achieve it. And, the universe has a funny way of working with us when we align with what really inspires us on the emotional level. Life starts to become really easy when we align with that. And it's the flip side of that is when we're trying to align with something we're not, someone we're not, the expectations, the shoulds, all of that stuff, life becomes really hard. It becomes really difficult. So learn to trust that the universe is here to serve us. And if things are difficult and challenging and you're not feeling inspired, question whether you're on the right path, and do the work and the introspection to discover what juices you and start aligning with that. And that is how you shift from functionality to being exceptional. So I love that. Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments, anything. I'm here to chat to you guys. And Hassani, yes, awesome. I will journal on that. Thank you. And what I think I'm hearing is that I've been confusing perfectionism with excellence. Sometimes I think I've settled for mediocrity in different areas because I wanted to let go of perfectionism. Yes, so it's about that balancing game, isn't it? So it's about building that self-awareness and checking in with ourselves about whether we are striving for excellence and being exceptional, or are we being overly demanding on ourselves and trying to force ourselves down a path that's not truly aligned just because we think we should. And that's what generally creates perfectionism. I know I had it massively when I was at uni. I finished a business degree that I didn't really want. I didn't really find any value from, if I'm honest. And I just did it because I didn't know what else to do. And then I got into law, and I was sort of really becoming perfectionistic throughout that as well, because ultimately what allowed me to make the transition out of that path that was so not aligned to who I am, was that I realized that I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. I was doing it for everybody outside of myself, trying to seek this validation, rather than getting attuned to what I'm called to do, what my unique gifts are, and giving those to the world and honing those. So that's often where our perfectionistic streak can come from, when we're trying to seek that validation in the external world. So everything, our whole identity is aligning. It's so focused on achieving certain things that we think we need to in order to be loved, rather than identifying who we are, identifying with the true worth of our inherent worth that each and every one of us has, and listening to that inner wisdom and guidance to get on the right path and discover what that is. So I appreciate you, Hassani. I'm grateful that you're going to journal. Let me know how you go with that process. And Hisham, nice to have you. I have a lot of things to ask you, so I should do it. Yes, so if you have a lot of questions to ask me, you can shoot me a message or an email, or jump on a 15-minute power session with me. I'd love to help you with where you're at. And Terry, awesome to have you. And thank you, Thomas. I appreciate your kind words so much. And Julio, awesome to have you. You're so welcome, Arta. And yes, Hassani, I want to be exceptional. Boom. That's the mindset. Just go for it. Go for being exceptional. And what I've discovered recently is that, so many of us are going for being exceptional in one area of life, I'm telling you right now, it just doesn't work that way. You think you can be exceptional in this area and let this other area slip, but how we are operating in one area is ultimately what affects all other areas. So something that I discovered recently, and I discover more and more, the more attuned I become to who I am and my truth and listening to that inner wisdom, is you can go for exceptional in this one area, but this other area that you're avoiding is actually going to bring you down. And the more attuned you get to yourself and that inner wisdom, the more you're going to feel it, pick up on it, and be able to make the changes more earlier. So yeah, I challenge you to think about that, guys. It's, you know, so many of us go for that exceptional in one area and we're scared of the others. So I challenge you to create integration and balance in all areas and go for exceptionality in all, because at one point they're going to be brought down. You're going to be brought down by an area that you're not reaching in. So definitely want you to think about that. And awesome. Yes. Thank you, Julio from Dubai. I always love hearing that. And Alex, awesome. And oh, so grateful to hear that this is what you needed today, Kelly. I appreciate you. And Kyle, nice to have you. And yes, definitely email me, Hisham. And Hani, nice to have you. So guys, that is it from me today. I really hope that today's message has got you thinking about where in your life you're currently settling and you're just going for functionality. You know, things have to get so bad that you actually start focusing on those things and you're just trying to make it work again, just at the bare minimum to just get by, rather than going for exceptional. You know, you weren't put on this planet to just get by in mediocrity. You were put on this planet to be exceptional in all areas and discover and align with what's true to who you are. That is the way to being exceptional, because that is ultimately what inspires you and gives you the fuel that you need in order to get the results that you're after. All right, guys. Mark, am I a trader? No, I'm not a trader of anything. So let me know what you mean by that. And Misty, awesome. I'm glad that this was truthful for you. Guys, that is it. I'm going to send you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, and courage. You know, everything that you need to move forward and be exceptional in your life today. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. So make sure, if you haven't already, book in a 15-minute power session with me. I'd love to meet you and connect with you. I get so much juice from helping you with exactly where you're at and seeing how you can potentially break through. And I'd love to help you on that journey. So definitely book that in. I'll put a link after I've hit finish on this video, and you can definitely do that. And if you have any questions, comments, topic ideas that you'd love for me to touch on, make sure you're letting me know. Send me a message, drop a comment, whatever is easiest for you. I really want to be adding value to you, so you guys, you let me know how I can be doing more of that. And just before I sign off, Hassani, well, what I thought too, yeah, lately I've been given advice to focus more on one area, but I know really need more balance in my life. Yes, definitely get on to that. Awesome. I'm grateful for that, Hassani. Yes, so many of us can you know, lose sight of different areas, but I challenge you to, yeah, really just keep it in your frame of mind. You know, just break down your life into key areas, even just 3. You know, it's 1, 2, 3 too many often, so we can get overwhelmed. So, you know, just go. All right, what's you know, go your health, your fitness, your health, your relationships, and maybe your business or your finances or your mission, whatever that is, whatever you're called to. Try and simplify life down into 3 different categories. I know it's really hard, but it is a better way of finding that balance. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you there, Hassani. And awesome. And awesome, Mick, you just joined me, but I hope you catch the recording. Great to see you, and I hope you gain some value from this, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Much love to you.